you're joining us here today on Career Communique Radio, your career catalyst, where we're committed to bringing you inspiring career-related topics to support you in accelerating your levels of success in the job market and the workplace across the globe. And my name is Annemarie Cross, our special co-host today. He is Jason Alba. He's the CEO and creator of jibberjobber.com and author of I'm on LinkedIn, Now What? We are continuously stressing to our clients the power of networking. And you mentioned that in your job-seeking efforts, networking was a crucial part. However, I still believe that people are certainly not building and leveraging their networks as much as they do, perhaps that they think the process is too complicated. So is jibberjobber.com a way to simplify this process?
I believe so. If you think about the amount of information and commitments that come your way when you quote-unquote network. So, for example, if I go out to a job club or any kind of networking environment where there's people and I'm going to collect business cards and meet people and shake hands and talk about having lunch next Tuesday or something like that, anytime I do any of that, it's just more stuff for me to think about. And it's very difficult to manage it all. I'm busy enough as it is. Don't tell me that I have to go meet 5 new people a week and, remember where our relationship's at. Before I used a tool like JibberJobber, anytime I met somebody, I would collect the business card, stick it on my desk, and I would really forget who they were because there was no effective way that I had or system that I had to remind me to follow up with people. And I think in networking, there's a lot of keys to make networking successful, but one of the most important keys in networking, in my opinion, is the follow-up. If you meet somebody and they seem really cool and like a great contact when you first meet them, but they never follow up with you, you think that you weren't important to them. And we need to think about the contacts that we meet and the way that we're coming across. And I think that tell me what you think, but I think that if we follow up with them, 80 to 90% better than most of the contacts that they might come across, because I think people just aren't following up. And that's one of the reasons why I created JibberJobber, is to help you know who's in your network and when you need to follow up with them.
That is just so true. And I think when people hear the term networking, they think that networking is all about collecting lots and lots of names and contact details of people, and those are people that they have in their network. But it's something that you mentioned I think is crucial, and that is the follow-up. Because when you follow up with people, what you're actually doing then is you're really starting to create and build upon and strengthen that relationship, because networking is not just about collecting lots of names and addresses and putting all those details on jibberjobber.com, but as you said, following up on them, building that relationship so that these people get to know and trust you. And I think that is so important. Once they get a business card, what would be the process that they would do then using jibberjobber.com?
Well, what I do is when I get your business card, I'll come back to my office, get on the computer, go to jibberjobber.com, and I will type in the information that I care about. Usually I don't care about your street address unless I think that I'm going to need it for a mailing or for something like that. But typically what I'll do is I'll take your name, your title, website, phone number, and email address. Those are for me, the most important things for if I ever need to follow up. So I put that into JibberJobber, and then now I have your record. And if you call me or email me in a week, I can go back into JibberJobber and I'm making a little log entry that says, talk to Annemarie about this stuff. We talked about ABC, and I need to follow up with her in 3 days, and here's what I need to give to her. So now, not only do I have your contact information, and by the way, your picture is on the internet, and so I went and grabbed it, and I put that in as a record also. So not only do I have all of that general information or specific information about who you are and how I can contact you, I also have a note of when we talked, what we talked about, when I need to follow up. If you and I were to have, in 6 months we have another phone call, I could go back to the record and see, oh yeah, here's what we talked about and here's when that was, and I think I need to follow up on something. So basically it's a system to help me manage not just, like you said, the names and dates and all that data, but it's where is our relationship at. If you were to come to me and tell me that I needed to get on Jibber when I started my job search, my answer would have been, I don't need to because I'm only going to be in a job search for a few weeks, maybe a month at the most, and I can manage that with my Excel spreadsheet. I had no clue that a job search goes beyond 4 weeks. I honestly did think I was going to be out of work just for a short period of time. So number one, the job search goes on for longer than you expect, probably. Hopefully not, but usually I'm guessing it would. And number two, the amount of data that you collect, it will blow your mind. I had no idea how much information I would collect. I mean, I was up to, if I remember correctly, 30 recruiters, about 100 target companies. I don't even remember how many jobs I had applied to, and a bunch of networking contacts. All of these are individual data or records that I was keeping track of, and it just really didn't do well for my spreadsheet. Now let's take this a step further, and let's say that I'm in a job search for 6 months. I collect a lot of great information, and then I get a job, right? I land my dream job. Well, 3 to 5 years later, I get back in the job search again. I don't want to have to start from scratch. I know that 3 years earlier, I had a ton of information, names, email addresses, phone numbers, companies. All of those are contact points that I should follow up with later. And I knew that if I kept using my spreadsheet, I was not going to be able to make heads or tails of what my spreadsheet had. However, Jibber is set up in a way that when you log in, even if you haven't been in for years, when you do log back in, it's data that you can easily make sense of what it is, even if it's 2 or 3 years old.
I think your network is absolutely gold. The people that are in there, not just those people, but the extended network. It's the people that they know and so on. That is completely such a valuable resource. And I think a lot of us and job seekers too take that for granted. And sometimes it might be a great idea just to go and see, who do I have in my network? Who are my contacts that I have in jibberjobber.com? What is a useful contact that I don't have yet? Who do I need to seek out? It may be a recruiter in a certain area, a new industry that you might be interested in. So that may be someone that you need to seek out. So I'm assuming that you can use that as a valuable tool as well to see the type of contacts you have, which will allow you to expand and get a number of key people and so on in your network that you're.
One of the things that you said is absolutely essential, is critical that you do these things between job searches, not just when you're in a job search, but that 3 to 5 year period that you are at your company. You should have target companies. You should have network contacts. You should be nurturing the relationships. You've probably heard of the book, Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. The whole concept there is to not wait until you need the water before you dig your well. You should be prepared. And with your network contacts, I think you're going to get a lot more mileage out of the relationships if you work on nurturing the relationships rather than just wait every 3 to 5 years and call them up and say, hey, it's me again and I'm unemployed again. Can you help me? Jibber is a tool that can help facilitate all that relationship management. And like you said, you will, as an employee, you're going to be meeting new people, whether they're in your company, outside of your company, customers, vendors, prospects. All of those people become part of your professional network, and you should work on nurturing the relationship with them.